to this live stream. Firstly, happy International Women's Day to all the lovely ladies out there. I've had a lot of women that have had a big influence on my life, but none more so than my mum. So thank you for everything that you've done, Mum. Happy International Women's Day. I love you. So I thought I'd better get that out of the road nice and early. Secondly, the title of this Facebook stream, why you should be skeptical of Facebook ads. I know that's a little bit strange because I consistently say that they're successful, but I promise it'll make sense by the end of this live stream, so just stick with me. And the reason I wanted to do this live stream was just this week actually. I had a discussion with a potential client on Facebook ads, and before I could get into explaining why I thought they were great and why they were right for their business, they jumped ahead of me and they said, look, Dan, I'll be honest, I'm a bit of a skeptic and I'm just not sure it's right for my business. And for most other people, they might take them back. And look, they were lovely about it. And they said, I want you to prove me wrong, but I'll put my cards on the table that I'm a little bit of a skeptic. And some people might be taken aback by that approach straight up. But for me, it wasn't the first time I'd actually heard it. So I want to do this live stream to talk about it a little bit more and why I understand why people, where they're coming from and why they can be skeptical about Facebook ads. Because often when you go into Facebook advertising, there is a lot there. There's a lot happening. It's quite confusing. But that's only if you're looking at the areas that matter. And when I say this to people, they say, but Dan, I just use the boost button and we're good to go. And then I ask, well, what are your results like? And for people just wanting to get eyeballs and engagement on posts, it might work okay. But tell me which small businesses can sustain that over a prolonged period without knowing whether it's actually working and being able to measure whether it's getting a return. And I bet there's probably not many small businesses that can. And when I ask them, they say, when I ask them how it went, most people reply, well, it didn't go great. They say they don't know whether it worked. They don't know how to track, one, what they were spending, or one, what the return was. And I tried a campaign for a couple of weeks and just didn't get a response I was looking for. And then sometimes they give it another try because they see other people advertising, they see other businesses and they're getting served other businesses' ads, and people are telling them, like me, telling them that Facebook ads are amazing. So they tried another short-term campaign and they might have gotten a little bit more, but again, didn't get the results they were after. And so often I see these businesses next time try Google ads or got some PR or they spend money on another medium and it worked out okay, but they just say that, look, Facebook ads don't work for my business. So going back to when I try to help people with ads and try to show them how to read results and use Power Editor, it is confusing to them. And I use these advanced techniques because Facebook just tells them to use the boost button and promote this post because it's performing well. And I just want to firstly say, step away from the boost button. Do not touch the boost button, okay? The reason you're failing ads and they aren't working for you is because you're not taking the right steps to first think about I just completely lost my train of thought, to first think about what you need to put in place before you actually execute your campaign. And these are the reasons why most people do remain skeptical about Facebook ads, because that approach of spending going up and down and throwing money at campaigns and audiences that you just hope are worthwhile are not going to get you prolonged results. They might get you a short stint, but they're not going to help you over the long term. It simply won't. It just won't work. I'll be 100% honest with you. So that's why I say you should be skeptical about Facebook ads, but not because they don't work, but because you're not putting in those initial steps to get the best opportunity and give them the best opportunity to help them perform. And there are two main areas that I see Facebook business owners fall down, aside from the technical aspect and setting them up, but there are two main areas that they struggle with. One is patience, and the other is planning. And patience, I hate the word, you hate it, it has this negative rhetoric to it. It's one of the most frustrating words out there, but there's no better word for what stops people from performing or having well-performing and high-converting Facebook ads than patience. Unfortunately, Facebook ads just aren't some silver bullet that will give you a huge return immediately. if that was the case, and if there was anything that did that for your business, then everyone will be doing it. But believe me, Facebook ads can give you income over a prolonged period and give you some serious revenue as well, but it's not going to happen tomorrow. And I want to go through a couple of technical reasons to back up what I'm talking about, patience and planning. And the first one is around patience. And if you're promoting to a cold audience, so people that have never heard of your product before, then you need to understand that even if you have the best offer you could come up with, and you think you've got some amazing product that will help their life, you're still in an advertisement, and people are always going to be skeptical about people that are serving advertisements to them. It's just an initial reaction because we've been hit with and bombarded with so much media. And unfortunately, even if it is a great offer, people won't trust you immediately. It's something that you need to build up with over time. Think about it whenever you see a product first and you see their initial brand. You've never gone from making a purchase, seeing their brand for the first time to straight away making a purchase. You've always gone and looked for recommendations, getting social proof, doing your own investigation, searching for answers or questions, or doing your own research on their website and finding out more about whether that product's right for you. So I'm not sure how many people would go from step 1 to step 2, and probably not very many. So I'm not sure why people think that they can stick something up on Facebook and it'll have an immediate effect, and they'll make a purchase after the first time they've seen your brand. There won't be too many of those people. So it just doesn't make any sense. You need to think about how you can move them further towards making a purchase or the conversion of what you want them to do at the end of your campaign. And that may mean that you need to actually take a step back and think about how you can answer those queries they have about your products or service, and how you can better answer them through Facebook advertising. And so now we're going to look at more of a effective funnel and how those ads then drive a closer connection with those people. So it takes time to convince your potential customers, and your messages and what you have to say, and it actually takes some time for Facebook to serve those ads as well. So you need to be patient with your advertising. It's one of the main reasons that I see people's Facebook advertising campaigns fail, because they don't have the patience to give them enough time to see the effects from them and to see results come in as well. And also, as far as the time that it takes, and people say, well, how long until I can see results? Well, that can differ greatly again. I know that's answering a question with a question, but it depends on how much your product is. I mean, someone that's selling a $50 product, for instance, doesn't need to answer as many roadblocks as someone that's selling a $5,000 product. So if you've got more skin in the game, then you've got to put in more work to push people towards making that final conversion. And so then that takes me to the planning stage, where businesses don't do before they ever spend $1. And this is what you need to do before you even go to create a new campaign. And I'll put some resources that I'll mention throughout this broadcast, and also some resources to some blog posts around how you can better go through the planning process. It'll be in the comments of this video as well. So some steps you need to take before you even spend $1 on Facebook. Firstly, you need to think about the sales funnel or the customer journey, whatever you want to call it. You need to start from working back from the point where they convert to the first time that they see your business, your brand or your business online. And so you need to have a think about the steps that they actually take before they actually get to that conversion point. So if you take, for instance, if you're selling an online product, then obviously they've bought that product online. So to buy that product, they've got to go to the checkout page. Well, how do they get to the checkout page? Well, maybe it was a sales page or the landing page or the information page for that product. But then, well, how do they get to that page there? Well, maybe they might have clicked on a link in an email that you sent them that said, hey Dan, here's a product that's perfect for you. Or maybe it was from another advertisement on Facebook. But then if you've got their email, how did you get their email? And well, maybe you need to offer some value via a free download, or maybe they were just an existing subscriber. but then how did they hear about that free download, or how did they get onto your list? And it might have been through a content upgrade on a blog post or an ebook or a free guide, and they've gone and downloaded. But then how do you know that that download or that guide was of interest to them? And well, they might have watched a video ad that sits at the top of the funnel. And this is a technique and a strategy that we use for all our clients. So we have something that brings people in at the start and pushes them along to get to that last point. And it's not point A to B anymore. It's point A to X, Y, Z, because there are so many steps in between that they need to be exposed to your brand, and you need to give them time to be able to make a decision. So when you think about your sales funnel, think about the last point and the first point that they'll actually interact with your brand. And then once you've got that plan of, all right, this is how we're going to move them through that funnel, well, obviously you've got to think about what you need to actually put in front of them so you can move them to the next step. And that's where you think about the creative for your ads and the content. And that's a really critical step as well. You can't just throw something up and expect them to click on it or move from one step to another. So thinking about the actual content of the advertisements, the actual content of those guides, the free guides, the downloads, the ebooks, the emails as well. Everything needs to have the strategic planning approach, and it needs to be served to them at the right time and at the right place to actually move them on to the next step. So that's a reason why I say you need to think about these things, because I actually want you to be skeptical about Facebook ads, and I want you to prove yourself wrong. But you need to give yourself the best opportunity possible for your Facebook ads to be successful. And so going back to my earlier discussion about a potential client that was a bit of a skeptic around Facebook ads, when I lay it out and I show them like that and the work that needs to go in to take in the necessary steps, well, all of a sudden they understand it and they're now a Facebook ads believer. So all we're trying to do, you think about it, all we're trying to do as businesses is we're just trying to show people that they can benefit from the product that we've got, and Facebook ads are a conduit to be able to enable you to do that and move them along to the chance of actually converting. So once again, thanks so much for listening to me today and joining me on this live stream. Again, my name's Dan from Organic Digital. If you've got any comments or any questions around Facebook ads, or you want to get in touch, just leave a comment below this video, or I'll put a bit.ly link in the description after this video that once you click that, will take you to a Facebook Messenger conversation where I can be I'll be on the other end and we can have a live chat there. Okay, thanks so much. Bye-bye.